So I've been taught by Michael Diamond, please, if you like what's going on in this show, if you like the content and you want to hear more about it, please donate, because otherwise we can't keep the cameras rolling. Was that okay, Michael?
That was decent.
That was not bad. Michael Diamond, president of Upstream Strategies. He's a smart advisor to businesses, to government, and he joins me now because I want to talk about not your advice, what you're giving them, but I just don't get this election. Why it's such a critical election. My point is that it's probably the most critical for at least 2 generations, that we make the right decision. And Canadians are saying there, well, we don't want to be like the States. We don't want to be right-wingers. We don't like that guy Poilievre because he's like Trump. I mean, are Canadians just oblivious to reality?
I don't think so. I think this is a close election. I think this is an election
Why is it close?
We're at the halfway. We're at the halfway point. There's polls that show a tie. There's polls that show it, 6-7 point gap, which is obviously larger. What we know is the last 2 elections in this country incredibly close. The Conservatives did win the popular vote, which wasn't enough to form government. So they are going to need to do better than tie or have a slight win like the last 2 times. But the last 2 elections were very close. We're at the halfway mark, about in not quite yet in this election. And it is shaping up to be a close race.
Should the Conservatives spend less time for safe seats where they're going to win seats in Alberta by 30,000 votes and more time in GTA, West, but more time in the Toronto area and around here where there's lots of seats and all you need to do is win them by 1 vote?
Absolutely. Look, I mean, vote-rich Ontario, right? And I live in vote-rich Ontario, but I'm from Western Canada, so I do understand that struggle. There's a ton of Conservative vote in Western Canada, and it's very inefficient. That's why the Conservatives won the popular vote in the last 2 elections without having enough seats to form government. Exactly. So, yes, absolutely. The Conservative government party needs to form government, concentrate on those areas of the country where there's a lot of close ridings. The GTA is one of them, Southwestern Ontario, another region.
You and I have both been in lots of campaigns. We also know it's about getting out the vote and getting people motivated to get out and vote. Well, I'm going to vote Conservative. They never get out to vote. To get Conservatives motivated, is there something special Poilievre and the party has to do? Because otherwise they may be sitting on their hands.
Look, I actually think the Conservative base is really motivated in this campaign. You can see it in the rally turnouts. You can see it in the enthusiasm for the campaign. So that is going to certainly be a major boon to the Conservative Party and their get out the vote operations. Traditionally, we're going to have to see where voter turnout is. I think there's a lot of interest, even though this election you might think is boring. I do think there's heightened public interest.
So far, but it shouldn't be boring.
It shouldn't be boring.
And I don't think it's going to continue.
And I think a lot of folks are paying increased attention, so turnout might be higher, but that voter turnout, if it is lower, get out the vote's even more important. So to see the energized Conservative base, who had 11,000 people filling a hockey arena yesterday, and they're filling airplane hangars across the country with folks, that is a good sign for them for get out the vote.
If it was possible, would you pay Justin Trudeau $500,000 to come and give a speech in Toronto? Would that win the election?
Look, I mean, I think, it is the Trudeau-Carney Liberals, and that is something important to remember. It is his team. Yara Sachs in York Centre, she even still has the Team Trudeau logo on her lawn sign. So, new face, new leader, same team.
Good words, smart words. Michael Diamond, thank you very much. 3 minutes. To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act, once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.